So in this video, I'm gonna go through all the new Windows 11 PCs running Snapdragon processors that were announced yesterday. So you can use this as a guide to not have to go through this all yourself. And we're gonna go through each one of the ones, go through the landing page and see what the actual consumer is going to see on their end when they're looking to purchase this. And we're gonna start off here with the Surface Pro. We're gonna start off with the one that's, I consider this the basis, the core. This is where everything sort of starts. Is the Surface Pro here with Copilot Plus. That's going to be the branding that they're sort of use for a lot of these PCs to kind of influence, kind of talk about more of the AI features that are coming with this. You're going to hear that a lot and see that a lot in the branding here, and they talk about that a lot here. But this is the Surface Pro 11th edition. It's a pretty nice looking machine. Pretty sure this is what's replacing the Surface Pro X, which was also an ARM-based machine running a Microsoft SQ1 or something processor kind of prior before here. I believe for display wise, which they don't list here, interestingly enough, they're not really telling you to display right here on the page, but we can probably look this up if we Google this a little bit more, because that's interesting. That's the first thing I said. They're not giving you much more in terms of like what your display is, what your other things are. It's just kind of this real blank pre-order page that just kind of, let's build your new Surface. Okay. The Surface Pro 11th edition. Let's get a little more info, because that's interesting. We're doing this like live, folks, as we're going along. As a consumer, I'd probably want to know a little bit more on the specs. That's probably not the landing page I would probably land on normally, but just in case, right? And let's go through here. We see the advertising. 14 all-day battery life, 90% performance, industry-leading AI with NPU that they push a whole lot. We have an OLED display. I know they're going to offer a couple of different displays, but I kind of want to know, well, what's the, here we go. There we go. This part right here. Let's show all the specs here. We know that's going to be the case, but we're going to go back to the configuration page. All right, that's what I want to see. A 13-inch Pixel Sense Flow display, 2880 by 1920. We know the Surfaces have those unique resolution, 267 in terms of PPI. Aspect ratio is 3:2. We know that's unique for them. 120 hertz display. That's good. Okay, that's kind of the stuff I wanted. That's the OLED. And down here is pretty much the same thing for the LCD display. This should be on this page somewhere right here, just to be a little bit more transparent, to make sure that the customer knows what they're sort of getting here. So that's one thing interesting, and hopefully they can prove that. Now we're gonna have two processor options, Snapdragon X Plus, Snapdragon X Elite. Now, basically, you wanna take a look at the Snapdragon processors, which are ARM-based systems. We've seen this with the MacBook Pros and the M1s and the M series of CPUs that come out. That's what we're seeing now with these new ARM-based CPUs. Supposed to have better battery life, better efficiency, a lot of better things. We're supposed to get that better improvement using less power. So we'll see how all this sort of tests out. But think of the X Plus and X Elite as sort of the Intel Core i5 for the Plus and the Core i7 for the Elite. Now, even within that, what I find interesting is like the Plus, X Plus, and X Elite do have models even within their own series. So I'd like to see them sort of give us a little bit more detail about that here, because when you hit what does the processor do, yeah. This is just going to talk about NPUs, neural processing unit, that talks about the AI features and tera operations per second. I think this is not the best marketing. We're just adding another acronym for, like, I think consumers to also get confused with. They're going to be like CPU, GPU, NPU. What? A lot of these all different things that they probably aren't going to totally understand or make it simple for them to understand. So yeah, that's kind of weird here. I think when I'm clearing my throat, I got a little bit of allergy sort of going on, so just let you know that ahead of time. Okay, let's do some configuration here. Let's go with the cheapest one here, which is the Snapdragon X Plus with LCD display. LCD displays look good. You can choose different colors. If we choose the Sapphire, which is the blue variant here, we only have the option of the Wi-Fi, 5G coming later in 2024. That 5G model, I guarantee is going to be probably like $200 to $500 more. Usually the 5G options are not cheap. And typically speaking, they usually are only sold on the business channels more often. So I wouldn't count on, I would probably go Wi-Fi and hotspot off your phone. It's probably going to be the more affordable option unless you really need the 5G. Okay, let's take a look here. Wi-Fi, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD for $1199 is what they're starting this off with, even though it says from $999 with that model. Interesting here. Okay, what if I choose the Dune color? Same thing, $1199. So you're paying about a few $100 more for the, about $300 more for that particular color. Okay, let's go into platinum. Platinum here. It's okay. Platinum offers you the 16 gigabyte with 256 gigabyte SSD. Now, a thing I'm concerned with here, and this is what happens with most ARM-based systems. We see this on tablets, we just see this on our smartphones, we see this within the MacBook and the M series of processors they have over there with the desktops and laptops. I'm wondering if a lot of these parts are going to be baked in where you can't make them upgradable yourself, like you just can't upgrade your storage, or you're not going to just be able to upgrade your RAM on its own. I'm wondering if it's just going to be baked in as to what it is. And I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of machines like that. There may be some upgradable parts. I hope we see more of that, but I feel like we're going to have that quite varied, and it might even be kind of unique in what parts work well with the processor and ones that don't, and depends, because there's all different sort of architecture that we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with traditional Intel and AMD x86 CPUs. We're dealing with something different in ARM here. So that's something I think to kind of keep in mind as we go through this. All right, so we see we have these two variants here. So 1200 also for the 512 variant of that. If we go into black, it gives you Wi-Fi, and that only gives you that option. Okay, so the Platinum gives you the extra one on the Surface Pro. Interesting, okay. And these are all just probably like, you know, the warranty and stuff like that. So I'm looking at things before you add on the services. All right, that's for the X Plus variant. Let's go to the Elite, which is the top of the line here. We'll start off with Platinum. This is where you get 512 and 512 and 1 terabyte of storage with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And looking like right here at $14.99 to $16.99 price points. I will say I do like that we're at a base of 16 gigabytes at launch with this. I do like that we're doing that here, because I think that makes it just more, I think that's a better thing. That to me is what you should be getting for RAM at the price. We know Apple does things a lot differently here. Sometimes it makes sense. I kind of get it, but I will expect that we will probably see 8 gigabyte variants down the line that are cheaper, because I know how retailers are, and they're definitely going to want that one that can make a doorbuster, that's really cheap, that's that entry level, that they can tag on a lot of services or stack things on top of it, bundle with, and do a whole bunch of stuff with. They're going to want that 8 gigabyte or maybe 12 gigabyte variant. I hope 12, but most likely they're gonna want that 8 gigabyte variant to kind of exist. I know they're gonna find some way to probably push that sort of out there, because that's what they forced. They did it with Intel. They'll do it with these machines as well too. Okay, so let's take a look here. We got the Dune color, same options, same thing with Wi-Fi, as you see right there. Platinum, okay, Platinum, this is where we get the upgraded RAM, the 32 gigabytes of RAM option with 1 terabyte of storage for about $2,100, okay? And then we see here, I got the black variant, and this is where it gives you, okay, the black variant, and this is on the Plus. Oh no, this is the Elite, I'm sorry, this is the Elite variant. Only gives you the 16 gigabyte RAM options. Oh no, that's only 16, okay. And 1 terabyte of storage. It doesn't actually give you the 32. Interesting. When I take off Wi-Fi. Oh, okay, it just adds it to there. Okay, that's interesting there. What specs are best for you? Okay, it gives general, not the most helpful information I feel over there. Just kind of giving that general stuff. Okay, so the top one with OLED Elite, and you want to get the most, you have to basically get the Platinum variant, the classic color. This is what the original Surface kind of came with, to be able to get those colors. And I think this is including the keyboard and stuff as well too. Well, I'm assuming if the keyboard and everything else is probably added onto this, even though I don't see it here, I'm assuming that it is. It's not making that very sort of clear here on the page. You have to go through the rest of the product page to find that. So that's what we look like with Copilot with the Surface Pro. I obviously want to check the Surface Laptop as well too, which is the more traditional one. We'll bring that up here. Same sort of thing. Surface Laptop 7th edition. You see we have a couple of different options in terms of screen size, but once again, they don't give us like the details on the page about the screen specs. So I'm gonna have to probably, once again, Google this on the side. And I'm working this like I'm a regular consumer. You know, I'm not just gonna assume things. I'm doing my research and trying to figure this out, okay? Just like anyone else would. Yeah, right, so you have to go to this other page. We assume this is the launch page to land on, but still, the fact that that's not there, it gives us, okay, it gives us a little bit more information here about this. Whereas there is just a tech spec jump, because that's all I'm gonna jump to here for the sake of this video. All right, we can see that is tough different model options. Okay, that's interesting, between 13 and 15, okay. Here we go. Then we got this is between the most likely, it doesn't say OLED or anything on it. Okay, so we know it's a 13.8 inch versus 15 inch. We know it's a PixelSense Flow display. These awkward ratios, 2304 by 1536 with 201 PPI. And we have 2496 by 1664 with 201 PPI, same aspect ratio, contrast ratio slightly different. Okay, 120 hertz refresh rate, okay. That's the stuff I feel, put that on the page so we know what it is, so we don't want to read through this. Put this on the page when we're trying to buy the product. That's at least in my opinion, that's the way it should be. All right, let's do some configuration here. We do a 13-inch, let's say somebody wants that MacBook Air competitor. Okay, Snapdragon X Plus, let's say they want it in blue. 16 gigabytes is the option that you have with a 512 gigabyte SSD for $11.99. You know, it says from $9.99. Interesting. Noon, same sort of thing. I bet you if it's platinum, yep, when traditional platinum, that's going to give you the 256 gigs, 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's where we're going to get like the base stuff right there. Okay, that's the $9.99 price point. So you have to get this color. It still looks like a nice laptop. Looks like their traditional surfaces. They're just adding the Snapdragon processor to it. And it's the X Plus right here, which once again, doesn't give us much information what X Plus is, what configurations, what we're getting. We just know X Plus. I get the simplification, but you gotta give us a little more than this, Microsoft. I kind of feel we're lacking here a little bit, in my opinion. Okay. All right, let's keep this moving here. Let's go to the black version. Same thing, 16 gigabytes, 1 terabyte SSD. Okay. This is where it jumps it up. So you can only get the base model in silver. Everything else is $11.99 or higher for 16 gigs of RAM, 512 or 1 terabyte of storage. Okay, all right. Let's jump up to the X Elite versions. Okay, now at the 13-inch, we get a few more options. We get the 32 and 64 gigabyte RAM option. 64 gig, I don't even think you get that on the, that wasn't on the original Surface Pro, the 64 gig option. I didn't see that. All right, and that's on the exclusive 64 gig RAM, so you want to do that for $2,400. Okay, and Platinum doesn't even get that option with the X Elite. Yeah, okay, yeah, these are all the same. So only the black gives you the top of the top options to sort of choose from. All righty, good information to sort of know here. So that service pop-up with Copilot. I just wish this page just had more with it, more information. Give me some more details. All right, let's take a look at Dell here. The first thing I already like about Dell, you see the base price of $13.99 right up here, but I like that you have Intel, Snapdragon, because this is the XPS 13 laptop. This isn't some type of specialized version. This is XPS 13, what you're familiar with, the line that we know of. I have an XPS laptop. If you go on this channel, one of my first laptop reviews is actually XPS M1530, one XPS 15s from like, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago. But you know, I just like the fact that they have familiar branding sitting right there. So we can hit Snapdragon. When we hit that, all right, now we're getting some information detail. This is what I like to see. We're getting Snapdragon X Elite X1E 80-100, 12 cores, up to 3.4 gigahertz, dual core boost, up to 4 gigahertz, NPU integrated. I like that they're giving us numbers so we can kind of figure things out, even if we have to Google these things. If we hit what process is right for you, okay, that's great. You pop right up here. It tells you the difference between the X Elite and it tells you the difference between the Plus and X Elite. 12 core, 10 core, and it gives you some simple understanding of what it is. This right here, good job, Dell. I like that this is here. This gives people information that they need to understand on what they're buying, because we are buying something that's different. I like that. It's not traditional, but I like that. You know, we're not buying something traditional, it's something new. Like that's there. We know we have Windows 11 Home versus Pro. I think on the Surfaces, they didn't even give us, so we'll click back real quickly. They didn't even tell us what type of version of Windows they it even comes with. This is Windows 11 with Copilot. Yeah, I know traditionally speaking, Surface devices, if you buy them at the consumer level just off the Microsoft website or at a store or something, it's usually home and you have to upgrade it later. If you do buy through business channels, they usually give you Pro. I know that's usually the case with them. All right, but like here, you can, for $60 more, boom. So we start at $12.99, go to $13.99 if we want Pro. I usually recommend just go ahead and get Pro because you just get everything with it. And $60 is a lot cheaper than, I think it's like $100 if you do it through the Microsoft store. But I usually recommend just grabbing it up there. All right, we have the Qualcomm Adreno GPU, not much detail. It just kind of, all right. Gives you a little bit about more discrete graphics, but I think in this instance they don't have much detail on that. I would like to see a little bit more. Memory, okay, yes, we know we're getting DDR5, 16 gigabytes of RAM, some type of speed transfer. I know that's not the easiest thing to understand, but hey, once again, you hit that page, boom, we're getting more information. I love this. These are the details that an average consumer, I want them to be able to sort of see. All right, we have a 512 gigabyte M.2 PCI NVMe solid state drive. The question I have with this is, because we know it's M.2, is this replaceable? Can we upgrade this to a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte down the line ourselves in the system? I have a feeling we will, since they're kind of calling it out like that. You can see the display here. Only one display option, 13.4-inch Full HD 1920 by 1200. Looks like it's 120 hertz, non-touch, okay. Because the other two are touchscreen on the surfaces, but this was just regular, okay. Only one color, backlit keyboard, system manager, blah, 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 blah. All that sort of stuff that they're with it. I like this on the XPS at $1359, not a bad thing. We can actually drop it down to $12.90, you know, $12.99 if we want to. So I like this page. I like what they're showing here. It's the XPS line is something we're familiar with. It's just running a new processor, and they're giving you plenty of information as to what this processor offers, right? I think it only has 2 USB ports from when I looked at it. I would like to see a little bit more in terms of these things, but that could be limitations of the platforms. But I'm really looking at the pages when you're jumping on and what you're seeing here. But she didn't really talk too much about the USB ports, anything like that in here. Well, we have a tech spec, nice tech spec link right here at the bottom. You get a nice, good breakdown. 2 USB 4 ports, 3 USB 4 Thunderbolt 3 compliant ports that are Type C. Okay, I like this. We can see that we have Wi-Fi 7 built in with it, with the wireless card. This wasn't even any information we really were getting on the sale page on the Surface. Like, that's just, you know, come on, Microsoft, you can be a little bit better than this. Dell's doing, I think, a much better job with this sort of thing here. All right, that's the XPS 13. I know they have an Inspiron, which is a little bit more their consumer stuff. This is where the Plus variant, okay, kind of goes with it. Okay, I like that. You have Snapdragon X Plus. You know that you're getting the 10 cores, and once again, you pop it in. It tells you right here. This is the X8C Gen 2. I'm not sure why this is here, considering that that's much older and not their newer architecture. We're talking about the X Plus. Might want to update that, Dell. All right, Windows 11 Home, that seems like the only option. Makes sense on the Inspiron machines. All right, nice layout on this. Nice looking laptop. It looks like an Inspiron. Very familiar branding that we know with. The Adreno GPU, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 storage, same NVMe. I wonder if we can swap this out. We know with the display, we're getting QHD at 14 inches. Okay. Doesn't say the refresh rate on it, it's fine. Color choice is only one. Drop down here, Snapdragon X Plus, 10 cores, up to 3.4 gigahertz, NPU integrated. I love that this thing is here. We got a little bit more ports right here. One USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A port, audio jack, 2 USB 4 Gen 3, DisplayPort 1.4a. I like that. All right. And it's telling you the slots, micro SD card slot, M.2 slot for SSD. I don't think even, we were getting Wi-Fi 7, okay, but just, I don't even think this even told us what slots. No slots available for this. That's interesting on the Elite. No slots on this one, and I don't think the Surface has mentioned it at all either. Anything about any sort of slots on any of the features. We know we get key tech specs right here. Okay, that's nice. I should have popped this up before. Somebody's probably yelling at me in the comments. You can click the top there with key tech specs. I didn't notice that was up there until I looked up there now. And it gives, okay, 2 USB-C, 1 USB-A, okay. Webcam, Wi-Fi 7, wait, all right. Nice, okay. All right, Microsoft, this is a little bit better. But I would have, okay, but that's not on the Pro. That's not on their Pro. That's, okay. It's here, but not on the Pro, which is the one they're gonna feature more. Maybe I refresh this page real quick. No. Okay. All right, that could be a little bit better. Like Dell doesn't have any ports on their top. Or at least they're not having no ports. I'm sorry, no slots available. So no like SD card slot. Interesting. At least that's not what they're mentioning in the specs. All right, so that is the Dell model. Let's hop over to HP. All right, we see right here, we have the HP EliteBook Ultra 14-inch G1Q notebook AI PC. I thought they were supposed to be naming these simpler. Not so much as these. All right, let's see. We go to see all specs. All right, it brings us down here. We can see it just says Snapdragon processor fan. Okay, Snapdragon X Elite X878-100, and I think there's an 80 and a 78, so we do know there's some configuration differences there. Same RAM style makes sense, 512 gigabyte, Gen 4 NVMe. Okay, at least we get a generation here. And I'm wondering TLC M.2 SSD. Okay, that's good information. I'm wondering once again if this is, replaceable, would be nice on its own. We're getting a 2.2K 14-inch display. Alrighty. One USB Type-C port at 40 gigabits. One USB Type-C to 10. USB Type-A. All right, that's good. Now we're getting audio, webcam, all the sort of the things. This only has Wi-Fi 6E versus Wi-Fi 7, it seems. All right. And they all should be powered. You should be charging by USB Type-C at this point. Okay. And this one actually called out the Hexagon NPU on the system. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see if I go to the pre-order page. We'll continue as guest. No real configuration. So this is just kind of baked in as to how it is. Knock off that honey there. Okay. That's just kind of baked on what it is. All right. So that's good to know. Let's move on to Asus, who also launched the VivoBook S15. I don't think there's a buy page for this. You can see right here, not available to purchase. You can get notified about it, but we can jump into the tech specs real quickly outside of the landing page and get some more information. We can see that it's running Windows 11 Home. They recommend a Windows 11 Pro for Business, so I wonder if you can upgrade it when the configuration page sort of shows up. This is Snapdragon X Elite 78-100. I feel like, let me take a look at the Dell. Okay, they're doing the X1 80-100, so this is doing the 78-100, so we know there's a configuration difference, 42 megabytes of cache. We're seeing some more details right here. Qualcomm AI engine. I like that they call it AI engine. I think that's a little bit easier to understand. Up to 75 TOPS, Hexagon NPU. 16 and 32 gigabyte variants, nice. 1 terabyte NVMe, PCI 4 or SSD, hopefully upgradable. All right, this has a lot more ports. We have 2 USB 3.2 ports that are Gen 1 Type A, 4.0, Gen 3 Type C. Okay. We have 1 HDMI. This is the first one I've seen with HDMI kind of marked down listed. We have an audio jack. I think another one had audio jack. I feel like one of the Dells already had an audio jack. And a micro SD card reader. Nice. This is a full laptop. Things you sort of expect with it. Full HD camera. Wi-Fi 7. Nice. All right. Okay. These are the things I like to see. This is a laptop that has all the features of a laptop. We're just using a different processor this time. We're not going to limit you or remove things. That's the stuff I want to see more of. All right. So, okay, starting off at $12.99, and we can't really do any configurations here with this. We'll have to wait a little bit later to maybe a configuration page that popped up. Let's take a look at the Acer Swift 14AI. Now, with this one, it's interesting because so far, all I found is the fancy landing page, but I don't think they have the ability to buy this as well too. And then that kind of makes sense. They usually sell through third-party channels more often. But we can see the weight. We can see it's Snapdragon X series, right? We know it's Wi-Fi 7, 14.5 inch, 2.5K display. Okay, not a whole lot. Okay, there we go. We know we're just going to use the Plus and Elite. We're getting more nice tech specs. ARM architecture. Okay. That's nice. This page kind of breaking those things down, talking about the battery, which we want. That's going to be the key feature. That better battery life is what we really want to see out of these. All right, memory and storage up to 32, 1 terabyte of storage, the bandwidth and the mega transfers. Okay, good stuff to know, but this just isn't really a spec page or landing page to get onto, because even when I went into their sale page, their store page here, nothing really shows for, anything here. AI ready. No, nothing really here. So it'd be nice if Acer kind of jump things up a little bit there. But let's jump over to Lenovo with the Yoga Slim 7X. Lenovo is going to be ready with that machine. I like that. All right, we see right here, we have the features: advanced AI, Snapdragon X Elite. Okay, they're using the X1E 78-100. Seems like a lot of them either. Only one of them is using the 80 variant. Okay, Windows 11 Home. All right, 64-bit. They're all going to be 64-bit machines. I'm glad they called that out. 60 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of storage, a 3K display at 14.5 inches, a 2944 by 1840 OLED. Okay. 1080p camera, backlit keyboard, Wi-Fi 7, good to see here, and 3 months of Xbox Game Pass if you want that. Advanced AI features. Okay, let's see. There's any configuration pages? No, if you just add the cart, most likely it's just gonna just let us put it in a cart with really just more working with like services, but nothing to sort of configure anything. All right, let's try to go back to details. Maybe it gives us a little bit more. All right, it gives us sort of the general detail page, the splash page that, you know, most people kind of come to. Slim machine, tech specs, okay. You can see here a little bit, because they didn't even call this on the page, the number of ports. We have USB-C, we have we have 3 USB-C ports. We have, it's the power button, the webcam privacy switch, okay. Doesn't seem like we have any other ports they kind of call out right here. Let's see if this tech spec gives a little bit more. All right, the speakers, Dolby Atmos, port slots. All right, doesn't look like there's any SD card slot with this. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.3, okay. This actually detail page gives you a bit more than what the page kind of did for when you go to hit pre-order. Just kind of get this small text right here with kind of the quick summary, I suppose. All right, cool. That's Lenovo. Now let's look at Samsung. Okay, Samsung, you know they're gonna have the configuration page, the Galaxy Book 4 Edge. All right, we can see here, I think before trade-ins or anything, $1,349. I think they prices at $1729.98, maybe before trade-in or anything else added to it. Interesting, okay. Windows 11 Home seems to be the only option. It's a nice looking laptop, I'll say that much, although they really don't. There we go, something that actually shows it. All right, they give you option X Elite at 3.4 gigahertz or the X Elite at 3.8 gigahertz. This is probably the 78 versus the 80 variants here. So if we swap to this one, that's where we're going up to $174.99. Interesting. Okay. You can see the jump right there. 16 gigabytes of RAM with 1 terabyte eUFS storage, which is usually used on smartphones. So I wonder if this might not be upgradable. Okay. Screen size. Okay, that's nice. It's a healthy 16-inch sapphire blue. All right. This looks like when you add trade into this, just add trade into something. Let's add a PC. Let's add the most common one. Let's say you trade in a Microsoft. It's not very much trade-in value. Okay, let's do Dell. Somebody's going from an XPS. Okay. An Apple laptop. Okay. Oh, those trade-ins right now aren't the best. I wonder if you trade in a phone. You'll actually get more money trading in a phone right now than you would trading in for a PC. So if you were to, for some reason, you wanted to trade, let's say your Galaxy Fold 5 and get a full laptop at $435 and you agree to that, there you go. That's the price point that it jumps down to. Interesting. All right, and I think this is just gonna lead, if you don't want any coverage, blah, blah, blah. It's just gonna lead to jump just to the basic page right here to go ahead and buy and pre-order. Okay, that's pretty much all the main pages I guess we've kind of gone through here. Interesting, like all of them show something slightly different information, but I'm really excited to see these ARM machines. I really want to get my hands on one of these and really put it to the test because I want to see, first thing, the battery life is going to be the biggest thing. Does this give that battery life enhancement that we see with most ARM machines, like we see with most tablets and your smartphone and even your MacBook, which that's really, I think, the #1 feature. Get that extended battery life, but keeping that same power without it getting throttled down. The other thing is, with Windows 11 on ARM, we're getting the It Just Works thing. We need more than that. This needs to work and perform really well. The emulation software that's gonna translate apps that aren't native to this new platform, how well will they run? Or is it degradation of performance? How much degradation of performance is there? Because it's usually something in emulation is gonna be something a little bit there. How many pieces of software right now are gonna be ARM ready to go? Like, those are the things that I think are gonna be really important about this. But we're seeing it in varying price, starting as low as $1,000 for a base model, all the way up to $2,400 to $2,500, depending on how you configure it. Some people are giving you different configuration options. Some people are not between manufacturers. But yeah, I'm excited for this because this is the first time in the PC space that we're really, not first time, but it's been a while since we got something like such a game changer that we're seeing with this here. And I really want to see it succeed and see this competition into the market. The key thing is that these guys have to roll out, they're going to roll out well, and I'm interested in this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Hopefully this guide has kind of helped you kind of navigate through all these. If this has helped out, what you think? Were you ready to jump over to one of these? Are you ready to take the first movers sort of buy in with this and see if this will work for you? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.